Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection, for another very, very, very important program. We are going to be talking about food and exercise today. Food and exercise. And we really want you to stay tuned and also tell your friends to join our program. I just shared the link of the station does a Facebook Live. So I just share the links of folks who would like to see us also, in addition to hearing us, they can do so. The show today is again, it's a very, very important show, and I named the show Health Elements, Food and Exercise. And before I introduce our guest today, I want to say that I would like to frame this subject today under a concept called Elements of a Healthy Community. Elements of a Healthy Community. Let's see, the WHO, WHO, the World Health Organization, it came up with concepts that health is more than having insurance. Health is related to what is also known as the social determinants of health. So it has to do with pretty much everything around us, not just eating healthy, not just exercising, not just going to the doctor, but it involves a lot. And they came up with this concept, and they have this, they call it the wheel. Now I remember, the wheel. Mm-hmm. And if you can see it here, it's an unbelievable chart. When I saw it for the first time, I literally said, I went to the Datos by breakfast by the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And when I saw this, I said, you know what, I can go. Actually, that day I had to leave early. And I said, it's worth it. I can leave now. And I took this handout with me. I loved it. So actually, this is the theme of our radio show. The AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection is the name of the show, but the theme is Elements of Healthy Communities. So again, I just wanted to frame it because we are all into health. I believe there are some chronic conditions that affect Latinos super big time, and we have to have a change. I believe all of us around this table believe that we have to have a breakthrough. There has to be a change in concept and in practice, because some of those ugly chronic conditions are creeping in and they are hurting us big time. So this show is going to be super important. And we have three guests. And let me start from my left. I kind of do that all the time. And then we just kind of come this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you just basically to introduce yourself, name, and then your organization, who you work for, pretty much what you do. Briefly, because I have many more questions and more questions before. Go ahead.
Perfect. It's a pleasure to be back. My name is Maria Silva. I am a registered dietitian at St. Vincent de Paul Family Wellness Program.
Yes. So you already, so you basically consult people. I mean, you are seeing patients that come to you with issues. Do you also see people who don't have issues?
We do. We see people that are high risk.
Oh.
So it's everything that has to do in the spectrum of either prevention and actual treatment.
So it's a clinic. They come to you, and then who basically determines that person may need your services? The doctor?
So we get doctor referrals. We work closely with collaborations with the doctors, and then also anyone that identifies themselves with having, for example, high risk for diabetes. We work with kids and their families. Really anyone that's highly interested in changing, kind of like we were saying, taking these determinants of health and really being empowered to know how to prevent chronic disease.
Yeah. It's almost like a new vocabulary, and we encourage our listeners to learn this vocabulary. So we use what? Social determinants of health, and then elements of a healthy community.
Yes.
Well, it's a new language. And the experiences have to have a language to kind of explain it. And we encourage people to start using these kinds of terms, right?
Yes, and it's definitely used in the medical field.
Right. So next.
Well, thank you for having me. My name is Taylor Mogul, and I'm actually a registered dietitian technician, but I'm currently doing my dietetic internship to become a registered dietitian like Maria.
Wow. So you're in the process of becoming like Maria right now.
Yes.
Is she kind of like, are you shadowing her?
In a sense, yeah.
Okay.
Doing some projects with her, shadowing some of her client sessions, and just trying to be more like her, essentially.
Perfect. We'll come back to you. Your name again?
Taylor.
Taylor?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Norma.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me. My name is Norma Cano. I am the CEO of Pretty Wicked Boot Camp. It's a pleasure to be here.
And you also, I see your T-shirt. You represent Latina Strong Foundation.
Definitely,
Did
yes.
they change it to Comunidad, or Comunidad is more like a slogan?
More of a slogan.
It's
yes.
a Latina Strong Foundation. You know, Petra, if she's listening, I want to thank Petra because we needed somebody from the Latina Strong, and she acted very quickly, swiftly, and got you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having
So
me.
you're basically wearing two hats today. You are representing the Latina Strong Foundation and your own company as
Yes,
well. You're
yes.
co-owner, I understand.
Yes, I am.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Now let me ask you another question to all three of you, and we have four segments actually
Okay.
of about 15 minutes. So I guess the question is, and I think I have it right here so I don't forget it. Describe the career path of a registered dietitian. Would you mind? I think you can, Taylor, you can go ahead and do it.
So, in order to become a registered dietitian, it does take going through a 4-year program at the university level. Once you receive a bachelor's in dietetics or nutrition, depending on that university's kind of term, you're able to apply for a dietetic internship that's accredited through a couple of associations, and once you complete that'll kind of entail supervised practice. Some programs entail some graduate school work, and some you can also earn a master's at the same time. So slightly different paths there
Right.
within that, depending on what your focus is coming out of the program, whether you want to work clinical, community, if you want to be more research-based. There's so many options within dietetics itself. But then from there, you're eligible to sit for the licensing exam. The state of Arizona does not require an additional exam to be licensed, but some other states do. You'll see RDN, LD, and that would be a registered dietitian nutritionist. And
So are you looking at about 5 years before you start kind of making money?
anywhere from 5 to 6 years
Wow.
is
Yeah,
roughly the plan there.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so let me come to the second question, and this is for all three of you. Let me start with you, if you don't mind.
Fine.
I can tell just from talking to you, your passion. You're all into encouraging people to make a determination to stay fit, to take care of your body in terms of the exercise part. So we have you kind of taking care of the exercise, and then we have these two ladies taking care of the food. So it's food and exercise. What drove you? I mean, were you born like this, interested, or at some point something kind of drove you into this awareness of really taking care of yourself through exercise and fitness?
Yes, I have always been active, but after having three children, my kids, I was at 215 pounds, and that was at a time in my life that I thought I wasn't happy. I thought
215, that's pretty big.
That
isn't it?
was, yes,
Wow.
yes. And
As a result of the third pregnancy?
third pregnancy,
Okay.
and of course, not taking care of my nutrition, not exercising, just
Do women tend to kind of indulge when they're pregnant, and then maybe afterwards too?
Definitely, yes, and
Okay.
especially in the Latina
Okay.
tradition, they want you to eat good. You go to
Right.
mom's house, and
So the baby is healthy,
yes,
right?
yes, and I did. I had a 9-pounder, so my kids were healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, afterwards, you need to eat right because you're used to it.
Right.
But at the same time, it got to the point that I wasn't happy and I wasn't confident with myself. Started blaming everything else in my surrounding, but it wasn't that. It wasn't them. It was myself.
Wow.
And so I started depriving myself from the sodas.
Is that something you did it on your own?
On my own, yes.
Wow.
On my own, yes.
Now, did you have an idea where you were going, or you just wanted to start?
I just wanted to start. I started at home, of course. I started eliminating sodas, tortillas.
In great quantity.
Yes, definitely. We were sitting down having 3 flour tortillas.
So you, based on your philosophy, you started using forks to
Forks,
eat,
yes.
as opposed to tortillas
Yes.
to sopear. You know the term sopear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so fork was my best friend, for a while there.
Okay.
And, of course, exercising, staying active. My husband bought me a DVD, Power 90.
Right.
And I realized that I wasn't in any condition when I couldn't even do the jumping jacks. I couldn't even do jumping jacks.
Wow.
That's when I said, this is not right. So I started at home with the DVD player tape, and from there on, it became a part of my lifestyle. I can't not have a good day if I don't exercise.
Right.
It's
not a good day if you don't exercise.
If I don't exercise, it's the best stress reliever. It gets me in a good mood.
Yeah, and in addition to being a Latina Strong Foundation advocate or member, you have your own business, so you're literally forced to exercise every single day, right?
Yes.
What is it? What time is the first session?
First session's at 5:30 in the morning.
In the morning. Isn't
Yes.
that
So
amazing?
my day starts at 4:30. My first class is at 5:30. 8:30. Second class, we have a 5, 6:15, and 7:15. And one of my trainers actually is, she's the best. She gets up and trains at 4:30. So
Amazing.
her start time is at 3:30. So yes, we cater to the ladies that really want it.
Maybe this question should be asked at the end. We have about 10 seconds before we go on our first break. If you could change some in the mind of someone, what would that change be? A Latina or
A
Latino?
Latina is to love yourself. Just make that difference for your body, for your family, for yourself.
Especially mothers. They have such an influence on everybody,
That's
right?
how it started. Yes.
Okay.
Especially as a mother, you're the role model.
Thank you. We have to go on a short break. Stay with us. This is AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. The subject today is health elements, food, and exercise. We'll be right back.
Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Thank you. Thank you for staying with us. This is AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. We're so happy. We're addressing a very exciting subject, and not a hard one, not a difficult one like others that you have to do so much research. This is more of a motivating show, and we will, be kind of giving you some ideas as to how to start the exercise part and then the eating. Let me come back to both of you, if you don't mind, and kind of share with us the same thing. I understand, and I don't know if you know this or if you knew this, but your profession doesn't pay like great. Okay? It doesn't pay like super big bucks. So there has to be, in addition to the money, a different motivation. I have to believe that. What is it? What motivated you to get into this field, and now that you're in it, what keeps motivating you?
So yes, to answer your question, it also depends to kind of what Taylor was saying. It depends on what field of nutrition you're going to. We are in the community fields of nutrition, and it's a beautiful field to be in. But you do have to have a passion for it. One, because you work directly with people, and my job is to convince somebody. I'm selling nutrition. I'm selling one of the hardest things that I think that is. But my motivation really is to be able to empower people to change the way they think about food. I think we have this really bad notion that healthy food is not good. It's like salads, you're eating like a rabbit. Not necessarily. So I really try to teach people how to navigate their system, how to eat still like their favorite foods, like Mexican food, whatever it is. How can you continue eating those things, but now looking at it from a different perspective, looking at it to what Norma was saying, to love yourself. You know, you're doing this not because the doctor told you to, but because it's good for you.
Right.
That's what you're choosing to do. That's why you're choosing to not have the 20 tortillas. You're choosing to only have 2. You know what I mean? Those kinds of different behaviors.
Not a diet, but a lifestyle.
Exactly.
A mindset,
Yes.
a mentality. I mean, and that's
That
why
is.
people, so many people do this New Year's resolutions, and they
New
never
Year, new
keep
me.
them. They never keep them because it's not about resolutions. It's about a change in the mentality, and pretty much, and I mean, I am into a kind of a regimen that I love, and I'm going to say something about my wife in just a little bit, but are you ready to tell us what motivates you to be in this field?
I think the biggest motivator for me is seeing when you have that breakthrough moment with a client, patient, whatever the setting may be, because I've worked in a little bit of everything so far. But that kind of aha moment where they realize it's not as challenging as everyone thinks it is. It's not these fad diets that everyone thinks it is. I'm not the food police. I'm not there to tell you can't have your favorite foods. But I'm there to like help you, whether it's, you know, performance nutrition, how you can get that extra step, or, you know, beat someone in a race, or in the community, something that may be just that little hint for a family that changes generations to come even.
Right. Definitely. You know, I was going to say something about my wife. I have a super wife, actually. She, to me, is like the combination of a traditional wife and a modern wife. I am so lucky. And one of the things, the amazing things that she does is to feed us, and she's into this kind of, you know, being healthy, and I'm just amazed. She's in the internet all the time looking for new ways to cook the food, and she dumps vegetables in pretty much everything that we eat. One time you, Maria, said that sometimes, I don't know if it was you or Monica, said, it's okay every once in a while to have pizza, but dump a whole bunch of salad into it. You're the one, in other words, add some zacate. I call it zacate, right? You know, so grass, you know. So anyway, I don't know. I just feel. I mean, I don't know how to express this gratitude towards my wife, because I work like 10 to 12 hours every day. I just could not do that much. I'm swamped by the end of the day, and she happens to be a stay-home mom, so she's basically, you know, that's that. But I do my part, she does hers, and my sons get the benefits. Our children get the benefits, and I do, and we all do. So obviously, I'm addressing, I think, a very, very critical point of why sometimes it's very difficult to implement these kinds of regimens, because people are so busy, both work. I mean, but I want to give you back the mic, so you know, for you to kind of share with us, why is it that our Latino community, I mean, do you think they're trying already and not accomplishing it, or they haven't come to a point of seeing the need of being encouraged enough to really make the transition? What do you think it is?
So I think it's a combination of both. I think we all know that we need to eat vegetables, but sometimes it's not knowing where to start. And there's so much information out there. It's kind of overwhelming. And I have people that tell me, I don't know where to start. I think it was amazing and very brave of you, Norma, that you were able to say, I'm starting here and just going for it. But when you go to the doctor, for example, they give you very general, I think you need to eat healthy. Okay. Well, where does that start? You know, what exactly do I need to do?
Right.
So it's really just being willing to take the first step. It's what we encourage people to do. But I think that's part of it. Like, they just become overwhelmed.
Right.
And then they set huge goals. Like, I want to never drink a soda again. Well, I mean, if you're used to drinking 3 sodas a day, never sounds already overwhelming, you know? I don't know if you have a different perspective.
No, definitely. My steps were the watering down the soda. Your little bit of soda, water. Started tasting not too good.
That's how you kind of started?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So I started eliminating it little by little. I never drank water. Now I can drink.
Automatic.
I don't know, 10
right.
bottles a day. once again, introducing the vegetables. This is what I do with my ladies. I kind of explain to them, and I kind of catch them off guard, saying, "You're already eating nopales, pico de gallo.
That's
you're
vegetable?
eating. So what do you do? Egg whites. Go put your pico de gallo. Drink, nopales. You can make nopales with everything."
Yeah.
So they're like, "Oh, that's right." It's like, what do we do? Well, you got beans, good veggies. You're already eating. It's just learning how to cook them.
So let me come back to you again. We're going to talk about the nitty-gritties of what's a good portion and balancing and all that. But I still want to come back because I feel that if we don't break through on this, we're not going to go anywhere. So do you think Latinos only worry until they get sick? Is that an issue that we tend to pay attention to these issues of? Because now for us, and I say for me too, it is so natural to consider how critical your food is. I mean, it's like a car. If you added gas, water to the gasoline that you add to your car, your car will start malfunctioning. So same thing with our bodies. If we do not feed good food, the body's going to get sick. So what is it that still doesn't click? Or is it just that our food is so delicious and we don't want to mess with it? What is it?
No. I think it's going back to the social determinants of health that you were talking about. I think it's exactly, I guess, that wheel as well, the combination of everything, And as Latinos, we're not raised going to the doctor, checking your blood glucoses. All of these different things that I think people in the United States are more given this information.
So because of this determinants of health, not having perhaps access to health care might not trigger that visit.
Well, that or not being in a safe community. If I don't feel safe to go outside and take a walk, I'm not going to go for a walk.
Okay,
if there is not a grocery store near me and I don't have a car.
Deserts kind of thing?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
so it's very much complicated. I think it's very individualized. But looking at it from a cultural standpoint, then yes, we were not, educator trained to really think of the future.
Right.
You were educated to think about, today I do this because my outcome is to feed my family.
Right.
Today I do this because my outcome is to do that.
Right.
So we're slowly kind of, training our families now. And I think I hear it a lot from some of my family members like, no, God will help me. And it's like, well, no. Do not get God in this. You need to help yourself. You need to go to the doctor and take action.
Right.
So it's really, I think, more of a mentality that we need to start shifting.
And I believe that's when we get the end of it. Like they're already in that level of high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, and we get the end. And so we have to help them fix it. Some of them are willing to go through the journey. Some of them are
Not ready.
Not ready. So that's where I come around and make it fun for them. I make the exercising, the workout fun. It's a fun way to lose inches. That's
Right.
my model. So that's the only way that I can say that that would help in my end.
Right. Taylor, do you believe self-esteem, perhaps depression sometimes, and it can be mild. It doesn't have to be a deep depression. It could just be a mild depression. Those kinds of social, elements that affect a person's self-esteem could play into somebody's habits, eating habits.
Oh, absolutely. We see it all the time where someone comes in and, if it's a referral from their primary care, there might be notes of some depression or some of those habits already showing. But a lot of times just talking with a patient, you'll see some of that stuff. Well, I'm already bigger than my classmates, so I don't want to go exercise near them. What if I can't do that exercise? Or what if I go to the lunchroom and my plate looks different than the girl who everyone thinks is skinny over here? Mm-hmm. That mental block almost keeps them in that kind of cycle of, I'm not going to go work out with everyone else. I'm not going to eat with everyone else. So maybe then they're harboring some of those poor eating habits where, they're eating alone, they're rushing to eat because they're trying to show up to the lunchroom at the last minute when no one else is really there or focusing on it, and they're just shoveling in whatever they can find at that point.
Right.
And that kind of all compounds itself. Plus, think about it. When you're having a bad day, are you really motivated to get up and be like, I want to cook this 5-course meal for my family tonight. I feel awesome. let's do this. No.
You know, my daughter, pobrecita, right? Sometimes I hear, oh, that Sunday evening or Sunday night, she's cooking for the week. And that's what, pretty much, that's what it takes, correct? Because you can't do it over the, during the week. So you kind of, what she does is she kind of prepares food for, 2 or 3 days, and she pretty much eats the same thing for 3 days. And that's kind of what it takes to eat healthy. If not, what do you end up doing? Eating out at restaurants. And that is, what is that? What would you say eating at restaurants? I can understand we do it once in a while, but doing it too much.
That would be the first and place to go to, but that's going to be the one that you're going to be going often. It's going to get you in trouble, and there you go, gaining all the weight back, and the discipline that you had goes down, and you just easy way out because you get used to going.
And I think there's another, especially with the Latino community, when you are becoming, you're losing some weight, people ask you, are you okay? Are you sick? Because, we're supposed to be robust, right? If you eat, you're supposed to be robust, so then you're healthy. But that's not the case. Is that another problem that we kind of have in our culture?
It is. It's definitely a cultural thing, and I think it goes back to many, many, many decades ago with whoever was bulky, like you were saying. They were good at us, and they had money. The rest of us, we didn't have rights.
A social thing
exactly. Too. It's like, kind of like when people would get married and they would tell, mijita, your husband is not feeding you. He's probably not doing too good. You're losing a lot of weight.
Wow.
So it's really more of it was the way we could. Yeah, it was the way we could track how someone was doing socially. Because if you have money, you can eat. If you don't, then you don't have. Unfortunately, fortunately, I guess, nowadays we have a lot of food there. It's not a problem anymore to most of us. But we do have access to a lot of this not very calorie dense, not necessarily nutrition dense foods.
Right.
And that's the kind of thing we want to change.
I'm laughing because I'm remembering if my siblings came to my home and instead of having a carne asada, I serve them nopales. They're going to say, what? I came all the way from L.A. to eat nopales?
My brother needs help. I think we need to give him a donation.
We have to go on our second break. I mean, we're laughing, but there's a very serious element in our conversation, and we just need to, I guess, capture that. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This is AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome to AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Thank you. Thank you for staying with us. This is AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection, and I'm so happy to have this show. I always say this because I really mean it. I have 2 shows a week. On Tuesdays, we do it in Spanish. On Thursday, we do it in English. And I just feel so good because I get to bring the experts, and then they give the information. And I'm sure that if you listen, actually, this is already we're at half point in our program. If you are listening and you want to call the station and ask a question, whatever question you have on either walking or eating, feel free. The number is 602-759-1910. Again, 602-759-1910. Feel free to give us a call. I haven't checked Facebook. I don't know if anybody's making any comments there. Ricardo Parra, which happens to be my brother. I'll be more healthy this year, he says. Good information. Pico de gallo, my favorite, he says. Good. Well, I just wanted to remind all our listeners that we are framing this issue under these concepts of the social determinants of health. Many organizations, entities, including government, believe it or not, are coming to the realization that health is more than just having health insurance. There's the social determinants of health that affect the health of a person, so they have to treat this issue of health in a holistic fashion. And we're kind of moving into that realm. AARP obviously is in this realm of addressing beyond just, I have insurance, but then many times you don't even go see the doctors for your preventive services, right?
Definitely.
So there has to be a vision of a holistic approach. Maria, coming back to you, what does some of the statistics show in terms of the propensities of Latinos for obesity, diabetics, and all that kind of stuff?
So we know that
stuff.
Or all that stuff, right? So we know that minorities were at a higher risk for diseases, such as, diabetes, cholesterol, blood pressure, all of that. And then within the ethnicities, we know that there is other certain groups that are even at higher risk, such as Mexicans. Unfortunately, if we come from a Mexican descent, that puts us automatically at an even higher risk of other diseases, such as like diabetes. And diabetes is a huge one. Also, staying on the topic of diabetes, 1 out of 3 people has pre-diabetes and they don't know it. So pretty much at least one of us here, or 1.5, since there's 5 of us in this room, may have pre-diabetes and we may not even know it. So going to the doctor, staying informed, or what are the symptoms and all of that, it's really important. You can always look more information for this at the CDC, like you were saying. The World Health Organization has great information as well. Or you can just simply go to diabetes.org and find more information about this as well.
Okay, so what is something super basic in nutrition? Because one of the things that I'm learning, and I brought some charts on my PowerPoint. I always prepare a PowerPoint to basically kind of lead the conversation. And one of the things that I'm learning is this food groups. Can you share just the basics of food groups? Because I think would you agree that that's
Definitely.
a good place to start? Because like the Mexican kind of dishes, I used to have beans, rice, and tortillas pretty much together almost
Same group.
once or twice a day. Now, that's the same group. Can you share some concepts about the food groups and how to kind of not have the same group in the same serving?
And the same serving, yeah. So at the Family Wellness Program at St. Vincent de Paul, we actually use the American Diabetes Association plate method, which has 3 groups. It has vegetables as half of your plate. It has carbohydrates as a quarter of your plate, and then protein as the other quarter of your plate.
Can you repeat that a little slower?
So vegetables as half of your plate.
Half, okay.
So the biggest group.
Wow, half of the plate has
Half
to
of
be
a plate,
vegetables.
yes. And then a quarter carbohydrates,
Okay.
grains, starches, whatever you want to call them, they're the same group. And then a quarter protein.
Okay. Can you give us examples of what, obviously the vegetables, I think they're green, and, we pretty much are clear about vegetables. Give us I guess, choices that people can buy when it comes to proteins, for example.
For burns, okay. So I'm actually going to stretch that, and I'm going to give you some, I think convenience, it's really what pushes someone to do it or not do something. Going back to the fast food, that's why we go to fast food places, because they're convenient.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be a salad. It can be something like fajitas.
Okay.
Fajitas have vegetables, and then they have the protein. And then if you make tacos with that, that's your entire group right there. Have 2 to 3 tacos. Make sure there is a lot of vegetables in there. And then, of course, if you want to have a salad or some nopales with that, I think they go hand in hand.
Right.
Something else you can do is some toast. A piece of toast with an egg on it, and then avocado and tomato on top. Not only does it look pretty, but it tastes delicious.
Right.
Another thing that we could do, it could be like an omelet with some toast on the side. So anything that is really very convenient and that is convenient for the individual. Not whatever I think my family should be eating, but really what is it that they can and they're willing to eat is what we want to be recommending.
Let me see if I can remember, because in a span of about 10 years, I went from about 197 pounds to 177 pounds. I lost, 20 pounds. And I told my wife that I wanted to get to like 175. She says, no, you're okay. But we'll see. But recently we made a change. In the morning, we were having 3, I guess, courses, if you will. The oatmeal with bananas and what's up, melon, papaya, and a few other goodies. And then we would add a burrito or maybe a egg muffin or something. So they would go together, and then the coffee, right? So what we decided to do is just keep the oatmeal with the good stuff, and I use tea. She uses coffee, and don't eat that at the third course, so to speak.
Perfect.
And so that would be like at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then at 11, I happen to work from home. Obviously, it's practical for me. At 11, then that's the time when we eat that third course that we were dumping in the first meal. How does that sound to you?
It sounds really, really great. I think you made the right choice in many aspects. One of them, not only does it matter what goes in your plate, but also the portions. How frequent you have a lot of those things really matter. So really having, I don't know, like pizza, it's not that bad. But if you have it every day, even if it's with a salad, it may not be the best idea, you know? So really it's all about frequency, portions, and really a little bit of everything. But what you did is you divided your portions in the morning and now made 2 meals when you used to have 1.
So instead of like 3 courses, so to speak, now it becomes 2, and then we leave the third. And then my wife and I, typically we go out and walk for about 45 minutes, and if people were to see me what I do, they would think I'm crazy, because I do all this motions with my body, with my arms and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, to be frank with you, there's a routine that I would like to do, but then that would mean that I don't walk with my wife. So I sacrifice that routine and integrate it somehow into my walking.
But then I think you go back to convenience. You know, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You're spending time with your wife, and you're getting your physical activity.
Yes.
So I think it's perfect.
I march, you know, like, I mean, I do all kinds of crazy stuff. So, Norma, help us, that person who wants to start. You know, I know that, okay, let me see, the name is Wicked.
Pretty Wicked.
A Pretty Wicked a boot camp. That sounds pretty scary. And it probably is to maybe for the ones that are already kind of in it, but I'm sure that there's, just like you had a beginning, what would you recommend to someone who's going to begin to kind of start to exercise? Well, what's a good place to start?
That's a good example. Same thing you're doing, walking, going to 35, 45 minutes walks, and that's perfect what you're doing. You're incorporating some other movements in there. Your body will get used to the same workouts, but you're changing it up, which is perfect. Now, if somebody would come into our facility, and we do provide beginners boot camp, which is on Saturdays, but we modify the workouts. We go ahead and inform them that this is their workout. We don't know how they're feeling, so they go at their own pace, and we modify every workout from burpees to jumping jacks. So we make them feel comfortable, and that's our number 1 key, is when somebody walks in the door, feel them comfortable, walk them not too timid. So that's our number 1 key. And once you feel comfortable doing something, you start liking it, and then becomes a form of daily routine. And that's our first model. Make them feel comfortable, walk them, and inform them that this is their workout. They go at their own pace.
You know, I have a desk. I work from home, and I don't know what the technical name is, but it's one of those desk extensions that you pretty much are standing up. What is it called?
Standing desk.
Standing desk. So I basically spend most of my hours standing. And I recently got a new computer, and it comes with a beautiful, good quality headset.
Wow.
And I go to YouTube, and I start putting instrumental music. It could be cumbias, it could be disco, it could be anything. And I am not kidding you. In addition to being standing up, I start dancing. By that I mean moving.
Perfect, yes.
And this is something that I believe once you become hooked, let me just use that word, hooked into healthy eating, hooked into exercises, you will get so creative. You know, even when you're watching TV, you're going to want to stand up. Don't sit down, because one of the things that I have learned is when I spend 2-3 hours sitting down, it's a killer. You have to stand up, and even if you want to watch those novelas, which I don't like, but it's up to you, but stand up and do some movement. Do you think that's, because now you mentioned that those that might go to your place, but before they kind of make it there, can they do something at home to kind of get that motivation going?
Definitely. Challenge themselves of doing different workouts throughout the week. From jumping jacks, time themselves. Today I did 10. Let's see how many I can do tomorrow. So today I walked from 35 minutes. Tomorrow I'm going to walk 45. Challenge themselves. It's always challenging instead of staying stuck and I got tired of the routine. Doing little workouts, videos at home. So they can go ahead and get that body ready to take it to the next level.
Right. Taylor, let me come back to you. In your surrounding, in your circle of friends, family, I assume that there's different age groups. What is your experience? What is the experience like about the walking in food in your circle? Do you see friends who are paying attention. Most of your friends are in it. How would you describe your circle in terms of, these routines, this healthy behavior, so to speak?
Well, I'm a little spoiled on the exercise side, as I was telling the girls earlier. My fiance is a personal trainer, so most of our friends are kind of in that workout routine and experience, and that's a lot of what I'm hearing about. And the guys are going and doing bike rides. And a lot of our friends also have a lot of education on nutrition, whether it's continually asking me questions and kind of going back and forth and sending me this meme or that post on Instagram. It's more normal for it to be a conversation, I think, in my group of friends and my age group.
And there seems to be a trend, right, in the millennials, in the younger generation. There seems to be a trend, which is good, very good, I believe, of keeping yourself fit, bike riding, walking, and all that good stuff, which is really good. Do you agree? I mean, do you kind of see that in your acquaintances?
Absolutely. And I see a lot of the watches, and I see most of us sitting here with them on steps. So
Reminders.
It's becoming more conventional that everyone is kind of looking for that kind of stuff.
I have other questions when we come back from our break. Well, we have to go on our last break. Stay with us. This is AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection. We'll be right back.
Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Thank you. Thank you for staying with us. This is AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Thank you. Thank you for joining our show. Again, we come to you on Tuesdays in Spanish, on Thursdays in English. Last Tuesday, we addressed the issue of citizenship. Next week on Tuesdays, we're going to talk about education, the educational system. And next Thursday, we're going to talk about here in this show in English about finances. So we're addressing very, very important subjects. So let's kind of conclude the show, if you don't mind, with the concepts of the change. The change, because again, I think there needs to be a breakthrough, or will it basically be that as new generations come in, they probably will do a little better, and then the next one better, more of a generational thing? Can we say that, or?
I think so, but I think we cannot forget about the people that are already here.
Okay.
I think that the change needs to start at home.
Mm-hmm.
Just take the first step and start making small changes. I think, like Norma shared with us earlier, she started by watering down her soda, so that all of a sudden it's not as much sugar, and slowly now she drinks mainly water. So any little step where you start by, one of the things me and my husband do, for example, are quarterly goals. So we don't do New Year's resolutions, we do like a quarter. So this quarter we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And then the next quarter we're going to do this. So for example, one of the things could be, this quarter I'm going to drink, instead of soda for lunch, I'm going to drink a bottle of water. Something as simple as that. That may sound minute, but it really adds up, and that's it. It really accumulates. And I think that's where the change is going to happen. When you start looking at it slowly without looking at the top of the hill and we're like, well, I'm not getting up there, I'm not going to walk it. Let's look at, just take one step, the first step, and then slowly you'll get to the top.
Right. Now, let's talk a little bit about chronic conditions as linked to obesity.
Yes.
Because I believe that there's, I probably repeat this phrase when my wife and I go walking many times, and we have so much data and so much knowledge that we have no excuse at all to be better, to eat better, because obesity, pretty much you can say, equates to a potential release of these bad conditions called chronic conditions, which heart disease, diabetes, strokes, arthritis, Alzheimer's, dementia.
That's the number one.
Knees,
That's
eventually.
the number one that we see at our facility. But I was going to also share with you, starting at home with the foods, and as a family, we're getting to see this, but before, you never see families going for bike rides,
Okay.
tossing the ball, take for kites. I haven't, those are the most important things that really starts at home, family.
Right.
Once they start having fun, it becomes a form of everyday activity.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
are we going to do today? Before we watch a movie, let's go
Yeah.
for a walk. Let's go walk the dog. Let's go toss the ball outside.
Right.
And that's how they can get started as a family.
Do you think that being hooked to TV at home, it's another big item that sometimes it's almost like a glue. You're glued to the TV. Is that also a problem?
Major problem. Kids
Okay.
nowadays, they have all these games that are upstairs instead of tossing the ball or even with a skateboard.
Right.
They're playing, and the sad thing is the parents are the one purchasing the games. So it's like, once again, it starts there.
And a lot of times it's the social determinants of health. That is, I work so hard, I am so tired, I don't have time. I rather have some babysitter, and that game becomes the babysitter.
That's right. Yeah. And I think both of you brought up really great points. I guess going back to the convenience, and then, it is definitely you come home, you're tired, but doing as simple as let's go to the mall and walk. I know there's temptations there, but just walk, and we'll worry about the rest of the stuff. So that it doesn't sound like a chore. It doesn't sound like I need to go to the gym. We can do things as a family together, and we can kill two birds with one stone. We can spend some quality time together, and we can be physically active instead of just watching TV or doing things like that. Another thing that I always encourage my families to do is don't find different ways to congratulate each other. So instead of being like, "Oh, we're gonna go for a pizza and ice cream because you got an A in your class," well, why don't we go ice skating? Why don't we go hiking? Why don't we go? Yes,
It doesn't have to be around food, then.
It doesn't have to be.
I get it.
And I get it. There's things that are going to be around food. I love food personally. But again, what is the bulk of it? Where is it coming from? What kind of other experiences, like Taylor was saying, can we offer our families? And kids have great ideas. Unfortunately, as adults, we're not good at paying attention to the things they tell us, but they have amazing ideas.
Yeah. My dad, he's 89. He's very, very, he's into this diet stuff. And I don't mean diet, but into his routines. And he spent 6 months in Mexico, 6 months in the U.S., and before he goes to Mexico, he does a taquiza. Which, you know what taquiza?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're amazing. Invite us next time.
So to me, honestly, it's not a big deal anymore. I mean, I assume that my brothers are going, oh, wow, no. It shouldn't be a big deal, because if you stuff yourself with 10, 12 tacos, you are going to, and again, you might do it once, but I don't believe in that. Every once in a while, it's okay. I don't believe in that, because we always say it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We always say it every once in a while, and then you say, but if you say it every day or every week, then what's
it's
the
not once
point?
in a while.
Right.
But let's not take the I guess, and this is because I work mainly with Latinos, and I feel like that's also an obstacle. But then if I'm trying to eat healthy, I'm not going to be able to go to the party, because that's all that is there. So how can we navigate the taquiza? How can we navigate the primera comunión, the quinceañera?
Right.
How can we navigate those situations so that you don't remove yourself socially?
Of course.
Because then that's where the depression and the discouragement can come.
And I think that's where the portion control comes. I'll say 2 tacos, I'm good. I drank my water. You had small portions of, beans and rice. So I just portions. You can go ahead and splurge or eat wherever you're going to do, wherever you go, but portions.
And this is why the word diet might not be a good word, because in reality, you can still eat the same things that you have been eating. Nobody's literally trying to get the food away from you. The whole idea is, how do I combine the foods and the portions? Am I correct on that?
Definitely. And this is another one topic that I always see is ladies, and not even ladies, everybody doing the 90-day challenge. That's one thing that I can say I'm against. It should be a form of living, a form of a daily routine, not a 90-day challenge. Why? Because once again, you lose, then you go back to the same routine, and your self-esteem goes down. Well, I couldn't do it, but they don't know that everybody has different body types. So not challenges, 90-day challenges. I'm so against it, and that's once again they go back, they deprive themselves, and once they don't win or they're at a quinceañera,
Right.
they eat 15 tacos, and there goes the challenge.
And in all that, like, for instance, when they have the taquizas or carnes asadas, there's always a lot of vegetables there.
Definitely.
So you know what I try to do? I don't get the tacos. I'll just get a plate and serve my vegetables, and I just a little bit of meat, and that's it. Go ahead, Taylor.
Kind of going to the whole point of that defeat or ending a 90-day challenge. It's the same thing with diets. Most diets aren't sustainable, and unless you're truly in a hospital setting and a doctor is prescribing you a diet for medical purposes, we really should be trying to eliminate the word diet from our vocabulary, because diet makes us think that you're going to cheat, you're going to not follow what it's supposed to be, and then that cheat day turns into a cheat week or month, and then suddenly you're not on that diet anymore. When we remove that and we become a lifestyle, then there's no way to cheat in there. You know that there's going to be some moderation, that you're going to have the parties and the social gatherings, and that's okay for one meal or even half of a day or whatever, where you're not going to eat to a T and you're not going to be doing your normal routine, but you also know that the next day you're going to go back and you're going to get back on your bike schedule or your workout schedule, and you're going to start eating half of a plate of veggies and all of the proteins and all of that good stuff. And, you know, we're breaking that mental cycle that comes with some of these words.
And that's only 90 days.
Yeah.
And you know, we once had La Doctora Perla Vargas on our show. She teaches at ASU West, and she brought in a point of a concept of being a social thing. Food is such a big thing because it's a social thing. It's linked to parties. It's linked to having a good time with family. So here again, it's not about not eating what you like, but it's understanding the family, the food groups, and not dumping of just one group in one plate, like your pizza, your tortilla, your beans or rice, you know. So am I correct on that? I think
very
it's
correct.
It's about understanding some basic concepts of food, and then doing a good mix of the foods, and then the portions. But it is definitely a social thing, and I have to say that something has to give. Let's be fair. It's not like it's not going to be 100% the same. If you care about your health, something has to give. There has to be some change. Do you agree with that?
I agree. I think was it Newton that would say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So yes, we need to have a little more sanity and make a small change so we can get the outcomes we're expecting.
But the outcomes, the rewards that you get, the reap, it's unbelievable. I mean, I tell you, another thing before we only have like a minute. We don't see males, guys, into these kinds of things. There's more women. Do you not say anything out of respect, or I mean, we need to talk to men as well. Am I correct? To the
please.
Correct?
In my experience, I think moms come and tell me, well, we will change. Getting my husband on board is going to be a
They're
different
expecting
story.
the big meal.
Yes, so
They're
we
expecting them to be home and not go work out.
Exactly. So we
have to also get on their
we
case.
try working. You know, I have to say that we do have some parents that come to the classes with their kids, and I always make a point to thank them for that and to show the rest of the families, you know, tell your husband they're not going to be the only guy here. There's more guys here.
We have come to the end of our show. We ran out of time. If you're listening, please join our Facebook page. It is AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. And the shows, every single show that we do stays there. It becomes a video and it's there. We've done 80. This is our 88th program, our 88th programs. So thank you again for joining us. Thank to our guests.
It's a pleasure.
Let's see, Taylor, Maria, and Norma. Thanks again, and thank you for joining. This was today's show, Health Elements, Food, and Exercise. Have yourself a wonderful evening, and join us next time. This was AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection.